Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sadashivasamarambham Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidwaram Sadgurum Brahmavidwaram. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. So we are into this third week of Dakshinamurti Stotram, the 66th week of this vision of Vedanta. Dakshinamurti Stotram is by Bhagavan Sri Adi Sankaracharya. In the introduction to stanza 3, Puja Gurudev talks about the discussion upon the nature of the individual and Jivatma and Paramatma were established in the two verses, and in this verse, the unity between the two. Tat Tvam. Tat is that Paramatma, Tvam is the Jivatma, and the unity or oneness between the two is in the Mahavakya word Asi. This stanza brings home to us the oneness between the meaning of Tat and Tvam, existence and the light of consciousness, which is Sat and Chit. Spurana, Satta and Spurana are both expressions of the infinite. How can one accept that existence and illumination of objects are lent to the objects by the Atman, the self? The theory of the existent cause. The existence alone is Purana, and that alone is the cause. The Acharya says, Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadatmakamasat Kalparthakam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasiti Vedavachasam Yo Bodhayatyashritam Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhavenna Punaravrittir Bhavam Bhonidhau Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Yasya eva Spuranam Sada Atmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate. He, Yasya eva, he alone, Spuranam, manifestation of the reality, Sada Atmakam, nothing but the reality, Asatkalparthakam, as delusory objects, Bhasate, appears, Sakshat, direct, in the time of enlightenment or knowledge of the revealing knowledge of everything, the all, Tat, that, Tvam, you, Asi, Sakshat, directly, Tattvam Asi, Tat is that, the supreme truth, consciousness, Sat, Chit, Tvam, you, Asi, are, you are that, iti, thus. Vedavachasa, with the help of the words from the Vedas, he who imparts that knowledge, bodhayati, yaha bodhayati, ashratan. To whom does he teach all this? Not to Tom, Dick and Harry, all and sundry. Come here, I will sit and take class. I will teach you about the self. Come and sit here. Pay 5,000 rupees and you will be realized. You will know what yourself is. In 10 days, there will be realization. No advertisements, no gatherings. But people who truly come and seek and surrender to him, he teaches. Bodhayati yat ashritan. Bodhayat yatyashritan. Yati. Bodhayati ashritan. Yat sakshatkaranat. Having realized, having had the direct experience of that self, sakshatkaranat, bhavet na, that person does not become punaha avrittihi, that person does not become one who returns again to this world of names and forms. Bhavam bho nidhau, bhava ambha nidhau, the ocean of worldly existence. Tasmai, to that person, Shri Guru Murtaye, that divine teacher, Namaha idam, I prostrate, I surrender, Dakshina Murtaye, to that Bhagavan Shri Dakshinamurti, I surrender. I surrender to that Dakshinamurti, whose manifestations, which are nothing but the reality, they appear as the objects of the world. All the objects are a permutation and combination and modification of Sat Chitan Ananda. He who imparts the knowledge of that self, the Atman, to those who have surrendered to him, the direct enlightenment, through the commandment of the Vedas. He does not talk on his own. He seeks the help of the Vedas and he says, that thou art. And after the direct experience, if that person listens to that verse, the line from the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads, especially this one, that thou art, and he contemplates on that and he learns to embody that in his life, in this lifetime, there is no coming back. After having passed standard 12, the student does not need to come back and study standard 12 or write the standard 12 examinations in private. He has passed that direct experience. There is no more return to the ocean of worldly existence. To him, that divine teacher, I prostrate, Shri Dakshinamurti. This prostration, this namaskara is for that Dakshinamurti who gives the knowledge of the self, the direct understanding, the direct knowledge of the self to that seeker who approaches him. The objects of the world don't have any reality. They are just an appearance. There are many objects that we can see, objects of sight, object of taste. We know that, but still we take it for granted. There is no permanency to all these objects. They're just moving names and forms. This was iron ore, this was metal, then it was mined, then it was converted into stainless steel. The stainless steel was rolled out to the factories, flattened, it was made into these tumblers, and it was sent to the wholesale shops and then to the retail shops. And from the retail shop, it has come to my place here. And after many, many years, this will crumble into small, thin piece of iron and merge with the soil. Every object in this world has got no permanent reality. It is only a temporary reality. That which only appears as the object of the world. And asat kalparthakam, the word that's used here is asat. Asat means not real. Kalpa arthakam, a delusory objects. Delusory means moment to moment they keep changing. Moment to moment they give us different experiences, different thoughts, different feelings, and different emotions. the existence and illumination of the self bring us to the recognition and experience the objects of the world. Because I have the understanding of the self, because the self is present in me, because that consciousness, that life and consciousness is present in me, I am able to register the name and form of this tumbler. I am able to remember that it is a tumbler. Without the presence of life, this registration of the thought, remembering the thought, making use of the thought is not possible. Existence consciousness, which is the self, is a very substratum. Because of that substratum or adhisthana, it is a karana, it is a cause for all the world of the objects of the world, which is the jagat. The thought in the mind of the existence of the book. We see this book. I see this book. I know in my mind this is a book. This book thought has fallen in the mind already the moment I see it, because there is a substratum of consciousness. Just like I want to write the word book on paper, because the substratum of paper is there, I'm able to write it. Because the substratum of paper is there, these printed letters are appearing on the book. Without that substratum, it is not possible to print these letters. In the same way, without that substratum of consciousness, it is not possible to register these names and forms as thoughts. It's as simple as that. Self-knowledge is not very difficult. Only remaining in that knowledge at all times, despite all situations and circumstances, is the challenge. We can therefore justify, Puja Gurudev says, the ultimate cause of the serpent is a rope. If the rope is not there, if the rope is not lying in the garden path in darkness, I am not going to experience a snake in that place, because the cause is not there. So the substratum is a cause. Because the substratum is present, I am experiencing something or the other. Since I am not conscious of the substratum, I am not aware of the substratum, I am experiencing other thoughts, emotions and objects in that substratum. But the very cause for the experience of the thoughts, emotions, objects and sensations is the presence of the substratum. All names and forms recognized and experienced all around in the world are delusory, and therefore the Upanishads negate them and indicate the Supreme Self alone. In order to remove from us the sense of reality in the delusory and therefore the unreal world of objects, we must gain a personal experience of that consciousness, which is indicated by the declarations in the Upanishads called the Mahavakyas. There are this Ishvara and Jiva, Brahman and the individual, appear like two different entities, but they are actually one. The distinctions indicated here by the objector, the one who is objecting. What is the objection? The Dvaitins, the people who believe in duality. There is this consciousness and there is this world. There is this supreme truth and there is the individual being. How can the limited and the unlimited, the mortal and the immortal be one and the same, even if the Vedas declare it to be so? This is the question of the dualists. The Upanishads declare that once these equipment are removed, the differences are caused by the equipment. Maya Upadhi, the equipment of Maya, meaning Sankalpa or organized thought, is Ishvara, and Avidya Upadhi, or thoughts that are random, that have no knowledge behind it, that have no understanding behind it, thoughts that are just coming out of our beliefs, our temptations, our desires. This is avidya, lack of knowledge. Avidya means consciousness is not fully present in that. There is a lot of tamas, there is a lot of ignorance. It is influenced by the world, it is influenced by the body, it is influenced by the mind. That is avidya. When it is influenced by consciousness, consciousness is predominantly prevalent. There is no iota of doubt in that thought. It becomes maya, sankalpa. And the substratum for both maya and avidya is that supreme Brahman alone. Besides the obvious meaning, there are many meanings: mukhya artha, lakshya artha. So there are three logical understanding methods to understand in our Vedantic literature. So one is Jahal Lakshana, the other is Ajahal Lakshana, the third is Jahal Ajahal Lakshana, also called Bhagatyaga Lakshana. These are ways by which we can understand something. So what is Jahal Lakshana? We can understand a sentence and its meaning. For example, somebody says, Gangayam Goshaha. There is a palace on the Ganges. Here, we cannot accept that meaning. There can be no palace on the Ganges if we don't think that it's going to be a moving palace on a ship or a cruiser or that. If it's not that way, a palace cannot exist on the Ganges. The Ganges is fluid and a palace needs solid foundation. So it cannot be on the Ganges. So we take in a new meaning. Jahal Lakshana means the obvious meaning is given up. What is the obvious meaning? The palace is on the Ganges river, floating on the Ganges river. No, that is not possible. So we give up that and we take the implied meaning. The implied meaning is on the banks of the Ganges, this palace is situated. That is Jahal Lakshana. Ajahal Lakshana is we, instead of renouncing the obvious word meaning, we take the obvious word meaning, we retain it, and something more. The earlier is we give up that obvious meaning, we take some other, the other secondary meaning is understood. The Lakshyartha is understood, not the Vachyartha, exact words, the exact translation of the words. Ajahal Lakshana, we don't renounce the obvious word meaning. Even though the obvious word meaning, we may not understand clearly. Shono Davati is the example that's given in the, in our, logically it's given. The red is running. Oh, sorry, the white, Shono Davati. The horse, red horse is running, or Shveto Dhavati. The white is running. White is, how can white run? The color cannot run. The color can run from the cloth. Even then, white color cannot run away. White color cannot run from the cloth. The yellow is running, we can see that. The yellow color in the cloth is running, we can understand. So even when we say the yellow is running, we are referring to a cloth. The yellow color in the cloth is running. It is not that yellow is running somewhere. Yellow color is running on the road. No. The man, even to make fun, for example, a person is very hot-tempered, very angry person, easily he can be triggered into getting angry. So one person is telling, hot is coming, heat is coming, heat is coming. How can heat come? No, the person who has a lot of heat, lot of anger in him is coming. In the same way, white is running. White cannot run, but when you are standing in the race course and betting on a horse and you say white is running, the white is running, the white is reaching the finishing point, the white is winning that the race, we mean the white horse. So we are adding that. The third technique is Jahal Ajahal Lakshana or Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. The part of what is renounced, one part is renounced, one part is added to give a clear meaning. The earlier two, one is renounced. The next one, nothing is renounced, but something is added. In this, one is renounced and another is added. So, what do we say? An example for this: Bhagatyaga Lakshana. That Sukumar you saw in that small village in Mailadurai is this Swami Bodhananda, who's giving this lecture on Dakshinamurti Stotram in Chennai. If you say that Sukumar was a small boy, this Swami, that Sukumar was dressed very differently. He was very stylish. He was playing cricket, and he could also have been engaging in some cheating game also. Possibilities are there. How can that person be this Swami? So the doubt is there. How that person is small, this person is big. That person was a family member in a house. This person is a Swami. That person did not know all these things. This person is not behaving like that person. How can that person be this person? Now, we just agree, yes, this Swami whom you see now was that boy you saw in Mailadurai. We retain the nature of that boy, the I thought in that boy. We retain that. We give up that name. We take this name. We give up that image. We take this image and we say, yes, that boy you saw then is this boy. Suddenly, you study all the Shastras, the Upanishads like this, you contemplate, a doubt will come, what if even all this is only illusion? All this actually, it's just humbug. The doubt can come in the mind of the seeker. Then what happens? Just as the sorrows of the world again come back, and when we wake up from sleep, when we go to sleep, all the thoughts that we had about all the problems, it goes away. When we wake up, all those problems come back. What if they come back like that? The fear is unfounded because the knower of the self goes beyond all sorrows, says the Upanishad. Tarati Shokam Atmavit, the one who knows the self, goes beyond all sorrow. There is no sorrow for that person in his life. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The individual in his microcosmic sleep and the total, the macrocosmic in the macrocosmic sleep is called pralaya. The vasanas or the mula avidya, all the memories that we have gathered over lifetimes, the memories of our likes and dislikes that are stored in our chitta, they are all still remaining. The individual and the world must return. As long as those memories are remaining in us, in our psyche, we have to come back into this world, and the world will also appear to us because those memories have to be exhausted. Without getting exhausted, there is no question of being just Brahman. When this is destroyed through knowledge gained by the Mahavakyas, one is liberated. So these memories, how do they go? The desires that we have, desires, when we seek to fulfill them, they don't go away. They just keep pending up more and more. We want more and more times for fulfillment of that desire. They don't go. The desires go only when I know the self. When I know the self and the light of that consciousness shines through all my thoughts completely. And from within that desire, I know it is I, the self, that is here. There is no desire in this place. Until that very clear understanding comes, these desires and these thoughts are going to remain strong in our psyche. So as long as they remain, we have to come back into this world, we have to take another body. The moment with the knowledge of the self, these thoughts are not there, there is no need to take another birth. The possibility is also not there unless that person chooses to come to help others. Nasa punaravartate, nasa punaravartate, nasa punaravartate, says the Niralamba Upanishad 3 times. Nasa punaravartate. That person does not come back again. This salutation is to that teacher, Sri Dakshinamurti, who gives me this knowledge of the truth, knowledge of the self, because of which I don't come back into this world again. I don't come back into this world of name and form. There are many schools of pluralistic philosophy, the Dvaitins, who talk of difference in the relationship between that and thou, God, Ishvara and Jiva. Closer observation shall reveal to us that no relationship is possible except that of the total and the complete identity. There cannot be a relationship between the finger and the palm. It is all one. Only that we can say. There cannot be a relationship between the head and the neck, or neck and the body. Everything is one. The whole and the limb, amsha, amshi, bhava, the palm and the fingers. No relationship is possible. It is only whole. The substance and its modification. The milk becomes curd. The milk is related to curd. No. The milk only has become the curd. Total and complete difference. Atyanta bheda, like light and darkness. Absence of light is darkness. Cause and effect. Karya karana bhava. Species and specimen. Jati vyakti. There is a species of cow, then you have one specimen or of Rajapalayam cow or Jersey cow or Ongol bull. These are all vyakti, the differences in the jati. Then substance and property relationship. Guna, guni, bhava. Gold, aurum, has got this property of being malleable and ductile. A stone is neither malleable nor ductile. It can only be broken down into tiny pieces, whereas gold can be melted and made into a thin string. Kara anguli adivat anyatarasya anyatara bhava. Different experiences. One is different from the other, so they cannot become one. These are all the language of the dualists. However, the Advaitins explain the relation between that and thou as mere delusion. Anyatarasya, anyatara bhava. There is somebody else. The somebody else will have only somebody else bhava or the feeling. The somebody else cannot become me. So that and thou are just one and the same. In the Bhagavad Gita also there is this verse, Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutasana tanaha. A part of me, the eternal, has become this living world. And the Upanishads say, all cells arise from the Supreme Self as sparks of fire. When they quote all this, they say now Ishvara himself is saying that there is a part and there is a whole. But they are trying to explain this to convey their small, their logic and their idea. It cannot be accepted because they contradict endless number of declarations in the Upanishads, where it has been repeatedly said that the infinite and the individual are just one and the same. The Atman remains ever present in everyone as the Jiva. The other name for Jiva is Atman. So there is no difference. We should not overlook that even the very creation and entering into them are themselves delusions. So when we talk of so many things, when we talk of so many differences, all those differences are just delusory talk ultimately. Ultimately, what remains is just that silence. The words are all coming out of the silence. The words are all giving all descriptions. But ultimately, there is only silence. And into that silence, all words merge. And that is why the language of Dakshinamurti is silence. Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, Shantam, Niravadyam, Niranjanam, Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam, Susukshmam, Tadavyayam. So these are all verses from the Shvetashvatra Upanishad and the Mundaka Upanishad, which talk about the supreme truth as partless, Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, no action, Shantam, very, very quiet, Niravadyam, it is not having any modification, Niravadyam. What's that? 1 minute. Nirvikara, Niravadya, no modifications. Niranjanam, there is no spot, no blemish. Nityam, it is eternal. It is Vibhu, ever present everywhere, manifest everywhere and in everything. Sarvagatam, it can go everywhere, means it's present everywhere. Susukshmam, it is very, very subtle. Tadavyayam, that is, how much ever you take it, it does not denude, it does not become less. Amurte niravayave sanmatre. The different texts talk about that, even in the Bhagavad Gita. The Atman alone is all this. The argument that the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi is, so there are some dualists who say, no, this Mahavakya, that you are only that Brahman, you are only that Ishvara, is a purificatory ritual. Before doing your puja for Ishvara, you say this Tattva, Shiva, Shivam Bhutva, Shivam Yajet. You become Shiva and you worship Shiva, they say. So in the same way, you say Tattvamasi, you do puja and you worship that. It is untenable because the Stuti Kalpana, it cannot be a Stuti Vakya, because everywhere in the Upanishad, again and again, time in and time out, in all the Prakarana Granthas, it is being said that Brahman is you. We have to only figure out, listen to how it is from the Guru, contemplate on how it is possible, and then the understanding will happen. Without allowing the understanding to happen, we should not establish our own ideas and whims and fancies on the truth of this Upanishadic verse. If the substance, like, what is a problem if you say this whole, if you say this samsara is real, then God will be subject to samsara, and that God will be a miserable God. You cannot remove samsara because a guna cannot be removed, and because the guna cannot be removed and samsara gives misery, God will always remain miserable. So this is not acceptable, because that is not the reality as pointed out by the Upanishads. The differences in manifestation are all due only to our upadhis, the different koshas, the Annamaya kosha, the Pranamaya kosha, the Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha and Anandamaya kosha. And then the Maya upadhi, or the thought that we have, that we entertain. These are all the differences between Ishvara and the Jiva. And so coming back to that verse, we will just see it again. Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakam asatkalparthakam bhasate. He is only manifesting as reality in all the delusory objects also. Every object has got existence. What is the reality in which he is manifesting? Yes, this is existing. This is existing. This is existing. Everything is existing. As that reality, that existence alone is. That they substantiate, Sadatmaka asatkalparthakam bhasati, all delusory objects. Sakshat tattvamasi iti veda vachasa yo bodhayati ashratan. To the people who surrender to that guru, he gives the knowledge of tat tvam asi. You are that, you are the truth which you are seeking and you are searching. Yet sakshat karanat bhavet. When you take the words of that guru, Sri Dakshinamurti, and you make it your own, that is called sakshat karanam. We listen to advice, get up early in the morning, but when that 4:44 the alarm rings, we hit it on the head and go back to sleep. Why do we do that? Because that advice to wake up early in the morning, we have not done sakshat karana. If we have done sakshat karana or made it our own, then we will not disobey that idea. Yet sakshat karanat bhavet. If you imbibe this idea, then there is no punaravritti. Punaravrittir ambonidhi, ambonidhav. In this universe of changing names and forms, qualities and feelings and emotions, we will not be born again. To that guru who shows me that path to not come back again into this world, to that guru, my prostrations. So tomorrow, early in the morning, we will have one more talk of this Tripti Deepa. That is the 7th day of Tripti, 8th day of Tripti Deepa, we will be having tomorrow early in the morning. Om Sarvesham Swastirбhavatu, Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadeva. Hari Om.